Refugees come into a country with a multitude of problems, a multitude of challenges. One, they come and then they are interacting with the community, they are prone to diseases, they are crowded, they need education, they need social amenities, and sometimes they get into conflicts with the communities.
There was a time when there was a clash between the nationals and the refugees. There was a deadly fight in which we lost about 10 refugees who were brutally killed, and it was the saddest moment.
In the past, every time you hear refugees are fighting with the host communities, or the refugees are fighting among themselves, the Dinkas are fighting Nuers, the Nuers are fighting Dinkas, they will not share some facilities.
Media, before UNESCO, medias have been facing a lot of challenges. But when UNESCO came in, they started training and started also engaging in security partners.
This rural media training in West Nile, where we find many refugee settlements, journalists are trained in ethical reporting, conflict-sensitive journalism, and human rights awareness.
A very good morning to you, dear listener, dear viewer. Welcome aboard. This is Radio Purchase, Peace of Christ for All. My name is Swali Sabiri. During the 3-day training we had organized by UNESCO, basically about the refugee-sensitive conflict reporting, we discussed a lot of things happening in different groups. But then the group where I was in, basically, we sat and discussed about understanding what exactly affects the refugee, but then who a refugee is one thing we discussed, the nitty-gritties, and then we realized there are a lot of things happening to them and how to approach them.
We learned that there are laws that govern the refugees in Uganda, and there are people you need to work with to get into issues of refugees. You cannot just wake up one morning and you go to any refugee camp, or you get a refugee and start talking to them. You have to go to the refugee desk officer. You have to get permission from that office.
The training has enabled, one, the presenters in these registrations to be able to tackle especially issues related to refugees. Previously, we were looking at conflict journalism, where you look at issues that come up immediately. You look at if there is fighting, you just go straight to focus on the fight. But after training, I've been able to realize that being a conflict journalist is not a good one. So the training taught us to be peace journalists. Peace journalists in a way that when there are issues in the community, the refugees, among themselves, or between them and the host community, you first go to get the real cause of the problem, and then you understand how these problems can be handled, and then you offer solutions as well in our reportings and also in the way we present them during our live programs.
In the insights, first of all, there's the right to privacy of the refugee that we so much, just like any other person, have to follow. But then when the refugee says, I cannot be opening to you, then you don't have to press that button of moving or forcing him or her to talk to you.
In the past, sometimes we would have the programs, some of them would not come, but after the training, we ensure that it is now more. For example, the recordings, we would have 1 in a month, but we increased to 2 in a month. And in every recording, you have 2 topics discussed. That means in a month, you handle 4.
Reports now highlight refugee resilience, their talents, their contributions rather than their victimhood.
Engage the refugees more, sometimes to get them to the radio to record voices that can speak volume about who they are and how best the authorities and whoever has a helping hand can be reaching them.
The refugee leaders, the community members are invited to come and be guests in the studio, and then they have the liberty also have a discussion, interaction on how they are staying in Uganda, their welfare as well.
But as I speak now, right now, really you don't hear so much of, hey, there's fighting, hey, there's killing, which used to be rampant. I think some of the discussions we have been holding with them, the items we have been recording with them, when they listen, it gives them, they also learn that, okay, I think this is how we're supposed to do it.
Lobarakari, the institution I speak for, has already come up with the policy briefs and the pronouncements of bad cultural practices. And this has been possible with the training of UNESCO. We don't want to see people as spectators. The training UNESCO brought has put everybody as participants in the game.
The media is not fueling any more conflicts. The media is informing both the communities and the refugees on the status quo of life in the refugee settlements, of disease outbreaks, of other things that could be happening in their own countries of origin.